Nietzsche and the Übermensch, greater self, how to unlock your potential. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential philosophers of modern times, posed a profound challenge to humanity. Can we fully realize our potential and rise above ourselves? In this audiobook, we'll explore Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch and how it can guide us toward living a life of self-determination and fulfillment. To simplify and enhance understanding, we will refer to the term Übermensch as greater self in the following discussion. Who was Nietzsche? A brief overview. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential figures of the 19th century, was not only a philosopher but also a poet and sharp cultural critic. His works are renowned for their radicalism and provocation, leaving a lasting impact on Western philosophy to this day. Nietzsche was a visionary who questioned the societal structures of his time, particularly criticizing traditional values of religion and morality. He observed a tendency toward mediocrity in modern society, a world filled with individuals afraid to forge their own paths, instead clinging to comfort and conformity. For Nietzsche, the solution lay in a radical reversal, the pursuit of self-realization and creative freedom. He urged people to transcend conventions and consciously shape their own existence. One of his most significant works, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, introduces the concept of the greater self, a vision of a person who creates their own values and surpasses themselves. This raises an important question. How can we lead an authentic life, free from the constraints of societal norms and expectations? This central challenge, left to us by Nietzsche, will be explored further in this audiobook. What is the greater self? Nietzsche's vision. Nietzsche's concept of the greater self is not a vision of superheroes with extraordinary powers, but rather a powerful metaphor for striving toward personal excellence and self-realization. The greater self represents an individual who transcends the limitations of traditional values and norms, creating and living by their own ideals to make the most of their life. For Nietzsche, the greater self was an ideal, a symbol for those courageous enough to take full responsibility for their lives, refusing to be limited by fear or conformity, and striving to unlock their full potential. Nietzsche deliberately contrasted the greater self with the last man, a figure who is complacent, passive, and resistant to change. While the greater self views challenges as opportunities for growth and self-improvement, the last man avoids effort, clings to comfort, and settles for mediocrity. A vivid example of the greater self could be an artist who boldly explores new paths without being discouraged by criticism, or an entrepreneur who brings innovative ideas to life and reshapes the world in their own way. Such individuals are often dismissed as dreamers, but aren't they, in fact, visionaries who drive our world forward? Nietzsche's greater self challenges us to step out of our comfort zones, face challenges, and live a life defined by creativity, courage, and authenticity. It is an invitation to transcend the limitations of our thinking and strive for something greater. Self-realization, unlocking your potential. What does Nietzsche's idea of the greater self mean for our own lives, especially in a modern world filled with distractions, expectations, and societal pressures? Nietzsche encouraged us to master the art of self-overcoming, a daily effort to surpass our previous limits and continuously reinvent ourselves. This principle begins with recognizing and confronting our fears. often the things we avoid the most hold the greatest potential for our growth. Self-overcoming means stepping out of our comfort zones and boldly venturing into the unknown, even when faced with uncertainties and setbacks. To apply Nietzsche's teachings practically, we can embrace some of his core principles. Set big goals. Nietzsche viewed life as a challenge to be faced boldly. Ambitious goals give our lives direction and meaning. They push us to strive, grow, and become more than we were before. Embrace chaos. Growth often arises from uncertainty and crises. Instead of fearing chaos, we should see it as an opportunity to unleash creativity and discover new paths. Stay independent. Nietzsche emphasized self-reliance. This means thinking for yourself, developing your own values, and not allowing the opinions of others to dictate your life. By following these steps, we can begin to unlock our potential and resist being held back by external circumstances or internal fears. Nietzsche's philosophy reminds us that growth and self-realization aren't easy or comfortable processes, but they are worth the effort. Criticism and misunderstandings. Nietzsche is often misunderstood, particularly regarding his vision of the greater self. Many have misinterpreted his ideas, associating them with extreme ideologies or models of domination. However, the greater self is not about dominance or ruthlessness. Instead, it is a call for individual freedom and creativity. For Nietzsche, the greater self meant breaking free from outdated ways of thinking and developing the courage to create new values. It is an invitation to unlock one's potential rather than being constrained by societal expectations or dogmas. This concept is not about selfish glorification, but about embracing a conscious, creative approach to life. Nietzsche's writings focus primarily on individual self-determination and the transcendence of conventions, with less emphasis on direct consideration for others. This naturally invites criticism and lends itself to misinterpretation. However, Nietzsche's philosophy is not a free pass for narcissism. While he criticized the herd mentality, where people blindly follow the crowd, he instead advocated for individual responsibility. This responsibility can certainly include an awareness of the impact of one's actions on others. That said, there is room for interpretation. Those who misunderstand or oversimplify Nietzsche's philosophy might use it as justification for selfish behavior. Yet his works aim to inspire individuals to discover their authentic selves, a process that can just as well include consciously chosen and lived altruistic values. Nietzsche challenges us to walk the fine line between self-realization and egoism. His greater self is not a narcissistic loner, but someone with the strength to create their own values while consciously shaping the world around them. Conclusion: take control of your life. Nietzsche invites us to think big, act boldly, and surpass ourselves. The greater self is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It challenges us to take responsibility for our lives, to break free from fears and societal expectations, and to define our own values. Are you ready to grow beyond yourself and unlock your full potential? Or does Nietzsche's idea provoke resistance in you? Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what potential you want to develop further. If you enjoyed this audiobook and want to learn more about inspiring philosophers like Nietzsche, give us a like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Your encouragement helps us bring you more audiobooks in the future. The next audiobook, linked here, explores the meaning of life. Give it a listen. Until next time, stay open and adaptable.